Good morning. This morning I want to talk about something a little bit different. Now I made some notes on this yesterday, but then I thought, no, I'll not bother. I'm just going to riff. I'm just going to say what comes into the top of my head, because I think it's a subject that deserves that kind of take. Now what I'm going to talk about is relationships. If you lead a slow, a quiet life, how do you interact with other people? What are your relationships like? What are your friendships like? Is there compromise? Are they different to anybody else's? And first of all, I'll just talk very briefly about romantic interactions, romantic relationships. Now I've been married twice, and I've lived this kind of life, and I've been like this kind of person, very slowed and very chilled all my life. And I married two very strong women, and it didn't last. And I think one of the problems was that they were looking for a reaction, and I wasn't one to give them that reaction. And I think it just led to frustration, and it just led to a breakdown. I know people who got married very young and are still married and have a fabulous lifestyle, and they love each other and they're compatible. And that is the secret. They're compatible, they think alike. They may have fallouts, but they can resolve it. That's the romantic side. I don't really want to talk about that. What I talk about today is friendships. How you interact with the people around you. Do you feel you need to isolate yourself? Would you rather isolate yourself? Is it healthy to isolate yourself? How many friends do you need? And I'm going to talk about just from my perspective. I have only got one very close friend, and it's only when I started thinking about this episode, this video, that I started analysing our friendship a little bit. Because you don't, when you're friends, you're just friends, you just take it for granted, and that's it. You make friends, you carry on, you don't analyse why that friendship is. But I did, just for this. And I was quite surprised, really. One friend, but a very dear friend and a very close friend. We spend a lot of time together. We spend Christmases together. We spend summer evenings together. I make the most fabulous salads, so I will make a salad and she will cook some salmon or something like that, and we will sit outside on the patio with a bottle or two of wine and chew the fat. We spend winter evenings together where we'll have a meal, have a drink of wine. But why are we compatible? Why are we friends? She's a few years younger than me. She has a fairly high-powered, busy job. She comes from a totally different part of the country. Her experiences in life have been different to mine. We're totally different people. But then I started looking a little bit deeper into it. And this is what people out there, it's what kind of experience, if you live a slow and a simple life, do you still interact with people? Do you interact with like-minded people? Do you interact with people who you contrast with? But I started looking at our relationship, and then I realised we're both dog lovers. She has two dogs. We go down there dog sitting quite a lot if she goes away. She doesn't have that many friends, about 4 or 5 close friends. Each one of those is a dog lover. And they meet up to go and take the dogs a walk and then go for a coffee or go for a glass of wine at the pub when they've finished. She loves nature. We go out walking together and she appreciates nature. We laugh at the same things. But all the time, she isn't living a slow and chilled life. A life that I never knew had a name until I started watching videos on YouTube. I've lived like this all my life, and then all of a sudden I found out that it's got a name, it's got a handle. Slow living. I didn't know. But she doesn't particularly live slow living. We butt heads sometimes because we don't live the same kind of lifestyle, because there's a crossover. And that's what I mean. I never knew how compatible as friends we were until I thought about it. So when you make friends, it's like a subliminal thing. You don't know what's coming into the equation. You don't ask somebody for the resume, as they say in America, or the CV, as we say over here. You don't ask them what their interests are. It's organic, it just grows, and you never really analyse it. And then when you do analyse it, you think, we're so much different, but we're so much the same. And I think that's where living a slow life and living a life free from consumerism, free from material things, you feel like you should exclude yourself. But I don't think you should. Not consciously. Just let things grow organically. Interact with people, because you will find that when you make friends, and true friends, they will respect your wishes to be alone. They will understand exactly what you're going on about, and they will love you for it, and your friendship will grow. So I think that living a slow life doesn't exclude you from relationships with anyone. I don't think you actually consciously need to gravitate towards people who think the same, or you perceive think the same. So that's it, basically. If you're living this kind of lifestyle, it's not a cult, and I've said this before. You don't have to just associate with like-minded people. You don't have to set yourself as a group apart. You can integrate and be in society just like anyone else. And this goes especially for younger people. As you get older, you've built and formed friendships that are going to be there for life. No matter what you think, what you do, how you change your life. But when you're younger, you've got peer pressure. You tend to form gangs and groups of different ideologies, and you battle against each other. And this is quite natural, because you're just building your character and forming opinions that you will carry through life. But when you're young and you feel that you want to live a slightly different life than everybody else, don't exclude yourself from everybody else. Don't put up barriers. If a friendship's going to form, a friendship's going to form. And that friendship might be for life. When you get married, don't be pressured to drop your friends. Your friends have probably been there for years. And if anything goes wrong with that marriage, your friends will need to be there to support you afterwards. So don't see slow living as some kind of unique lifestyle. So in conclusion, I don't think that living a slower, more minimalistic lifestyle should exclude you from being friends with anyone. Friendships are just organic things. You're attracted to a friend like you're attracted to a lover. And you don't need to put up barriers. If you want to live a slow and chilled and peaceful life, doesn't mean you have to do it in solitude. You need a friend or two. I know I do. I just need the one. And I'm happy with that. It said it was going to rain today. It's not rained yet, but there's a lot of clouds. But I've just been talking to someone and they said, isn't it warm? And it is, it's quite warm and it's quite sticky. You hear the birds in the distance in some woods over there. So we're going to carry on. And if we come across people, we'll chat to them. And if they want to chat for an hour, we'll chat for an hour. And all will be good. And then we will go home and close our door and just be at peace in our own company. Life can be absolutely fantastic. There doesn't have to be conflict and confrontation. You don't have to fall out with people who have different views. It's like politics. People who think differently, have different political standpoints, hate each other. There's so much vitriol. They actually want people to be harmed. How mental is that? It's just an opinion. People don't fall out and want to beat each other up because one of them likes crispy bacon and the other one doesn't. It doesn't make any sense at all. This makes sense. Molly's taking her time this morning, sniffing everything that goes. I don't say it very often, but if you do like our channel, please subscribe and make sure you press the like button, because pressing the like button is the thing that gets us out there. So we shall see you all on the flip. Much peace and love.